I'll be honest with you from the start. If hyperinflation unfolds the way many economists predict, that $3 item on your shelf right now could jump to $50, $100, or vanish completely from stores. I'm a prepper since 2013. And today, I'll walk you through 23 everyday items that turn from ordinary household goods into pure treasure when the economy collapses. I'm not talking about high-end survival kits or dehydrated meals. I'm referring to the simple products you pass by in grocery aisles every week. Cheap now, but potentially priceless when inflation soars and supply chains snap. Let's begin with something most people keep beneath their kitchen sink but never have enough of: bar soap. Plain, classic bar soap. Here's what many don't realize. When inflation gets ugly, companies eliminate luxury products first. The body washes with fancy scents and added moisturizers vanish. What remains is the basic soap bar. During an economic breakdown, soap becomes more than a hygiene essential. It turns into a trade item. Everyone needs it, yet few can make it at home without chemical know-how. In 2015, I read first-hand accounts from Venezuela, where inflation hit the thousands of %. People were trading food for soap, literal bars of soap. I personally store at least 100 bars in a cool, dry spot. They're compact, long-lasting, and when things get rough, that $3 4-pack could be worth its weight in silver. Go for the inexpensive options: ivory, dial, whatever's on sale, and buy in bulk. Number 2. Salt. And I don't mean a couple of spare containers. I'm talking about large sacks of it. Salt might seem too simple to matter until you remember it's been a form of currency for millennia. The term salary even comes from salt. Roman soldiers were paid in it because it's essential to survival. The human body can't function without sodium, but salt's true value extends far beyond health. It preserves food. Before refrigeration, salting was the only way to keep meat from spoiling. If inflation wrecks the grid or makes electricity unaffordable, you'll need salt to keep your food edible. It's also medical. Use saline for infections. Gargle it for sore throats. Clean wounds with it. A 50-pound bag costs around $15 today. And in a collapsed economy, a single pound might fetch you a full chicken. Stock up heavily. Number 3. Baking soda. This humble powder has countless uses. So many that people forget its worth. You can bake with it, clean with it, brush your teeth with it, even use it as deodorant. It relieves indigestion, neutralizes grease fires, and helps test soil pH in gardens. Back in 2014, when I started prepping seriously, I came across stories from the Great Depression. Families rationed baking soda carefully because it was so versatile. The best part? Baking soda stores indefinitely if kept dry. Buy the large bags in bulk. Arm & Hammer sells huge ones. Pick up 5 or 10. For roughly $50 total, you'll have something potentially invaluable in hard times. Number 4. White vinegar. Just like baking soda, its uses are nearly endless. It works as a cleaner, disinfectant, preservative, mild medicine, and even a natural weed killer. I've mentioned vinegar and baking soda repeatedly in my videos because they're that reliable. When inflation takes off, specialty cleaning products vanish first. Those fancy chemical-packed cleaners rely on fragile global supply chains. Vinegar doesn't. It's simple, ancient, and effective. Right now, you can get gallon jugs of white vinegar for just a few dollars each. I personally keep at least 20 gallons in storage. Some worry about it expiring, but if sealed tightly, vinegar lasts for years. Even if it turns cloudy, it still works fine for cleaning and most other uses. Number 5. Bleach. Now bleach doesn't last forever. It gradually turns into salt water after about a year. But here's why it's still essential. Bleach purifies water. A few drops can make contaminated water safe to drink. It disinfects surfaces and stops disease from spreading when sanitation breaks down. During Zimbabwe's hyperinflation, countless people died from cholera simply because they couldn't disinfect their water. Those who survived often had bleach. or access to someone who did. My approach is simple. Rotate your stock. Buy bleach on sale, use the oldest bottles for cleaning, and keep at least 10 fresh gallons on hand. It may degrade over time, but in a crisis, that single bottle could mean the difference between sickness and survival. Number 6. Aluminum foil. It might sound trivial until you think about what happens when production halts. Foil requires electricity, raw materials, and industrial-scale machinery. If inflation cripples manufacturing or drives costs sky high, aluminum foil becomes scarce and incredibly valuable. If you're finding this helpful so far, take a quick second to subscribe for more practical survival strategies. Hit the like button to let me know this content is useful, and share your own thoughts or experiences in the comments. I always enjoy hearing different perspectives. Aluminum foil isn't just for cooking. Its versatility goes far beyond that. It can be used to signal for help, reflect heat, make quick repairs, protect food, and even build makeshift solar ovens. I once watched a documentary about Cuba's economic crisis in the 1990s, and people were washing and reusing the same pieces of foil repeatedly because new ones were impossible to get. Right now, you can grab those heavy-duty bulk packs at warehouse stores. Buy several and keep them in a dry spot. It's one of those one-time investments that will serve you for years. Before we move on, I want to pause and share something important, especially if all of this feels overwhelming. When I began prepping back in 2013, I was completely confused. Everywhere I looked, experts were saying to buy 6 months' worth of food, and I was staring at my bank account thinking there was no chance I could afford it. But here's what I learned. You don't need a massive budget to build food security. You just need a smart, methodical plan. Number 7. Lighters. Forget the complicated fire-starting gadgets and magnesium rods. They have their place, but nothing beats a simple disposable lighter for practicality. These little tools are durable enough for most weather, ignite thousands of times, and cost almost nothing. I'm talking about basic Bic lighters. You can buy a 50-pack for around $20. Do yourself a favor. Get 100 or even 200. Keep them cool and away from heat, and they'll last for decades. In a collapsing economy, fire becomes essential for cooking, warmth, water purification, and light. The person who can start a fire holds real power, and the one who can provide others that ability can trade for almost anything. Stocking up on lighters is one of the easiest and smartest preps you can make. Number 8. Candles. Even if you have flashlights and spare batteries, candles give you light without using any resources except themselves. They provide a bit of warmth, store indefinitely, and are still dirt cheap. Basic white emergency candles burn for hours, and small tea lights are convenient and versatile. I keep large containers of different candle types. Here's a trick I learned in 2016. Buy those tall religious candles you see at dollar stores. They usually cost around $1, come in sturdy glass jars, and can burn for several days. The glass makes them safer too. Stockpile these generously. When electricity costs skyrocket or becomes unreliable during hyperinflation, you'll be grateful to have them. Number 9. Matches. Yes, I already mentioned lighters, but matches are a reliable backup with their own advantages. Strike anywhere matches are getting rarer due to shipping restrictions, but regular ones are easy to find. Grab the 10-pack boxes. They're cheap and last indefinitely if kept dry. I personally vacuum seal mine in bundles of 5 boxes with a silica gel packet inside. Stored that way, they can stay good for 20 years. Matches also make great trade items. They're light, compact, and universally useful. Perfect for small barter exchanges. Number 10. Batteries. And not just a few. Buy them in large quantities. AA, AAA, 9V. Whatever powers your devices. Inflation crushes industries that rely on complex materials, and batteries require lithium, zinc, and other compounds. When production slows and prices soar, batteries become scarce fast. Yet our dependence on them doesn't change. Flashlights, radios, and medical gear all rely on power. Stock up when bulk packs go on sale and store them in a cool, dry place. They'll slowly discharge, but high-quality alkalines last 7 to 10 years. Rechargeables are great if you have solar energy, but always keep plenty of disposables as backup. In severe inflation, a single pack of batteries could be worth a week's supply of food. Number 11. Duct tape. It might sound like a cliché, but there's a reason everyone talks about it. Duct tape fixes almost everything. It seals leaks, repairs torn clothes, secures broken tools, patches windows, creates makeshift shelters, and even offers support for sprains. In our industrial world, it's cheap and everywhere. But after a collapse, that won't be the case. Right now, a roll of good duct tape costs about $3 to $5. Buy 20 or 30 rolls, store them at room temperature, and they'll last for years. Over time, the adhesive on duct tape might lose a bit of its stickiness, but it still gets the job done. This is another one of those supplies where having extras instantly makes you the person everyone wants to barter with. Number 12. Plastic sheeting. The thick mill rolls you find in hardware stores are worth their weight in gold for countless reasons. They can be used for emergency shelters, waterproofing, setting up clean rooms during disease outbreaks, building greenhouses to stretch your growing season, shielding supplies from moisture, and even collecting rainwater. The possibilities are endless. A quality 6 mil, 10 by 25 foot roll usually costs around $15 to $20 right now. Buy several. They take up little space, last indefinitely if stored correctly, and you'll discover a dozen unexpected uses when times get tough. Number 13. Tarps. Think of these as the tougher cousin of plastic sheeting. Heavy-duty canvas or polyethylene tarps in multiple sizes are absolute workhorses. They cover and protect equipment, form quick shelters, collect water, seal leaking roofs, and hide or secure supplies. During the Great Depression, when housing conditions worsened and people couldn't afford repairs, a single tarp could mean the difference between staying dry or not. Today, you can still buy them at reasonable prices. Get a mix: small, medium, and a few large reinforced ones. Store them neatly folded and they'll serve you for years. Number 14. Rope and cordage. From thick half-inch rope to thin paracord and basic string, rope has been one of humanity's most essential tools for millennia. You'll need it to secure loads, build shelters, make repairs, hang food out of reach of animals, or set up clotheslines. The uses never stop. During inflationary collapse, rope becomes harder to produce because it relies on petroleum-based or processed natural fibers that require industrial equipment. Making it by hand is possible, but time-consuming and lower quality, so buy rope now while it's affordable. Get a range. Natural fibers like manila or sisal, synthetic varieties like nylon or polyester, paracord for multi-use purposes, even heavy twine. A 100-foot roll of good rope might cost between $10 and $30 today. A tiny investment for what it'll be worth when supplies vanish. Number 15. Zip ties. These simple plastic fasteners are ridiculously useful. They secure things instantly, can be reused with care, withstand weather, and cost next to nothing right now. You can find bags of 100 for about $10. Grab several bags in different lengths and strengths. You'll use them for tying down tarps, fixing broken gear, bundling cords, quick repairs, or even improvising restraints if someone threatens your safety. Back in 2013, I met a disaster relief worker who told me zip ties were among the most requested items in crisis zones because they solved countless problems in seconds. Number 16. Sewing supplies. Needles, thread, scissors, buttons, patches. Everything required to mend clothing. In normal times, we toss out torn garments. In an economic collapse, you repair them again and again until they can't be fixed anymore. That makes sewing tools and skills extremely valuable. A basic sewing kit costs around $10. Buy several, along with extra thread in common colors. heavy-duty needles for thick fabrics, and assorted patches. These are lightweight, compact, virtually timeless in storage, and become priceless when new clothes are no longer affordable or available. Number 17. Over-the-counter medicine. Stock up on pain relievers, fever reducers, allergy meds, antacids, and cold treatments. I'm talking ibuprofen, acetaminophen, aspirin, antihistamines, and similar basics. These complex drugs are made in massive factories that rely on intricate global supply chains. When those break during inflation, medications vanish quickly. But illnesses don't stop. People will still get headaches, fevers, and allergic reactions. Right now, a large bottle of generic ibuprofen, around 800 pills, costs roughly $10. Buy multiple bottles, along with other essentials like acetaminophen, aspirin, and Benadryl. Check expiration dates, of course, but here's something most people don't know. The FDA has found that many medications remain effective for years past their printed date if kept cool, dark, and dry. This isn't medical advice, but it does mean these items retain their value long-term. Stock heavily. Number 18. First aid supplies. You'll need the basics: bandages, gauze, tape, antiseptic wipes, antibiotic cream, elastic wraps for sprains, and more. When inflation drives healthcare costs through the roof, people handle medical issues at home. Be prepared for that reality. Build a comprehensive first aid kit, then make a backup. Go for store brand items on sale. A 100-count box of bandages costs just a few dollars right now. Gauze, medical tape, and ointments are all cheap today, but won't be later. Having extra means you can help others or trade for essentials. Number 19. Seeds. Specifically, heirloom seeds, the kind that can reproduce year after year. When food prices explode, growing your own becomes survival, not a hobby. Seeds are your insurance policy against hunger. The biggest mistake new preppers make? Buying seeds for foods they don't actually eat. Stick to what your family enjoys. Tomatoes, beans, squash, peppers, whatever you'll genuinely use. Also, keep a supply of simple, fast-growing crops you can trade, even if they're not your favorites. Those common varieties can become powerful barter tools. Someone will always want those lettuce or carrot seeds. Right now, seeds are inexpensive, usually $2 to $4 a packet. Buy a wide range and store them properly. Kept in a cool, dry, dark place inside an airtight container with silica gel, they can remain viable for 5 to 10 years or longer. Number 20. Hand tools. Not the powered kind, the manual ones. Hand saws, hammers, wrenches, screwdrivers, pliers, axes, files, and old-fashioned drills. When hyperinflation hits and electricity becomes unreliable or too costly, those fancy cordless tools turn into useless metal. Manual tools, on the other hand, last forever and need nothing but human effort. They're also disappearing from households because most younger people rely on power tools. That makes quality hand tools increasingly valuable. You don't need to buy them brand new either. Estate sales, flea markets, and garage sales are gold mines for durable vintage tools at low prices. Clean them, oil them, and they'll serve you for life. In hard times, anyone who can fix, build, or repair becomes indispensable, and the tools to do that work become treasures. Number 21. Toilet paper. We all remember the toilet paper panic of 2020. It was easy to laugh at, but the reasoning made sense. Toilet paper is bulky, cheap, and essential for daily comfort. Living without it is unpleasant and hard to substitute. Sure, cloth alternatives exist, but they require water and soap, which might be in short supply. Toilet paper production is surprisingly complex and dependent on industrial systems. When those break down, supply vanishes fast. Stock up when it's discounted. Buy a lot. It takes space, but it's worth every inch of storage. Whether you use it yourself or trade it later, it won't go to waste. Number 22. Feminine hygiene products. For half the population, these are not optional, they're necessities. They're also intricate manufactured goods that become hard to find during economic breakdowns. Reusable alternatives exist and are great to have, but disposable pads and tampons are still vital to stockpile. They last indefinitely, don't expire, and will be worth a fortune when stores run dry. If you have women in your household, stock accordingly. If not, store extras anyway. These will be high-demand barter items in any crisis. Number 23. Baby supplies. Diapers, wipes, baby food, diaper cream, and formula are absolute essentials for families with young children. During hyperinflation, these become either outrageously expensive or completely unavailable. Diapers can last for years if stored properly. Wipes stay good for a long time. And while formula does expire, rotating your stock solves that problem. Even if you don't have a baby, these items make excellent trade goods. Parents will exchange nearly anything for them when shortages hit. Now here's the big picture. This isn't about fear. It's about recognizing patterns. History has shown us what hyperinflation does again and again. Germany in the 1920s, Zimbabwe in the 2000s, Venezuela in the 2010s, Argentina multiple times. The story repeats. Money loses its worth. Manufactured goods vanish. Simple, practical necessities become the new currency. Those who prepare ahead don't suffer like the rest. They stay warm, fed, and secure, and often help others by sharing or trading from their supplies. You don't need to spend a fortune to be ready. Most of what I've listed today is extremely cheap right now. For roughly $500 to $1,000, you can build a complete, well-rounded stockpile covering all 23 categories. That's less than many people spend on entertainment in a few months, but the peace of mind it provides is beyond price. If you're starting from scratch, go slowly. Each time you shop, add 1 or 2 extra items from this list. A bottle of pain reliever, a box of trash bags, a pack of soap bars. It builds up faster than you think. In a few months, you'll have a solid reserve. In a year, you'll be truly prepared. I sincerely hope we never experience the level of hyperinflation that would make these preparations necessary. I hope the economy steadies, supply chains hold strong, and life continues as usual. But hope alone isn't a plan. Preparation is. The great thing about all of this is that nothing goes to waste. You'll use these items eventually, and by buying now, you're simply locking in today's prices before they soar tomorrow. That's not panic. It's smart economics. If this message helped you, give it a like. Leave a comment below and let me know which item you're planning to stock up on first, or if there's something important I didn't include that deserves a spot on this list. I read every response and always pick up new ideas from you. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do it. We share straightforward, practical preparedness advice every single week. No drama, no fear-mongering. Just clear, useful information from someone who's been at this since 2013. Share this with the people you care about, your family, friends, anyone who'd rather be ready than scrambling when things get difficult. And remember, the goal isn't to panic or live in fear. The goal is to live with confidence, knowing that whatever financial or economic storms come your way, you've taken care of the essentials. You're ready, you're steady, and you're going to be just fine.